You ever put this on my door and we'll pretend you're walking through here all the time.
All right.
It was the first time Governor Ventura had walked through the offices of the Iron Range Resources and Rehabilitation Board in Evelyn. Just the first stop on his tour of the range. His next destination, checking out the Giants Ridge Golf Course in Biwabik, one of the IRRB's pet projects. Even though he didn't hit a golf ball,
I'm feeling the best I've felt, and I don't want to go back to limping if, no, I want to give her at least another week.
he got a chance to experience the course in a different way, from the air.
I got 4 pictures of him right up close, and I'm still shaking.
And after a chance to visit with some of the employees,
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Look forward to coming up.
he was off again. This time heading to the Iron World Discovery Center in Chisholm. There he talked about his concern for the taconite industry and announced the first citizen member of the IRRB, Patricia Ives. It's a move he hopes will help keep the area economy strong.
I believe very strongly that government should not be about politicians, but be a place where citizens can get involved and make a difference. Pat, keep them guys in line. I'm counting on you.
But the governor wasn't just talking business. He had to answer some personal questions as well.
What's your favorite animal?
I have 2 posters of each of a lion in my office at the Capitol. So I think wild animals, I've always liked the lion.
And from the roar of the crowd, they made the governor very welcome during his visit to the range. In Chisholm, Kim Kaiser, News 6.
This is a direct result of this. Too much rain.
It's had a lot to do this year with the jet stream and the way it's been configured. We have troughs and ridges in the jet stream that ride on out, and when you're in a ridge, you usually have a drought or extended heat period, and we've kind of been right along one of the cusps where we have just system after system after system coming right over us this summer.
July was the 8th wettest July on record, causing flooding in Hibbing, Floodwood, and Fond du Lac, and delays in construction everywhere. Doug Olson is trying to build his new home.
Yeah, it was pretty consistent that we could count on rain just about every day and every other day, and we got delayed a few times, especially we working on the roof and trying to get closed in. So.
And for those who rely on good weather for good business, this has been a rough summer.
Pretty wet, slowed down business, and like right now we're digging, we keep getting water up, and it's hard to lay the retaining walls.
The water has brought plagues of frogs into people's backyards, and mosquitoes are rampant this year.
Until here.
Despite the infestations, many people are just toughing it out, knowing they can't change the weather, so they might as well accept it, sometimes with a little humor.
Well, I've got a drain down here that might end up being a nice pond someday, so.
In Duluth, Maureen Tallarico, News 6.
People just want to be treated with a little fairness and respect. The workplace right now, as it sits, they make it a hostile environment. People just want to come and be treated with some dignity.
Any, 10:06.
Oh, really? Yes, I've been an employee for 12 years.
Hey, bring us some dinner.
You know, a strong possibility that it may be Katie because of a continuation of the testing. I guess I wasn't understanding from the beginning that, you know, once we heard that it's not Katie, I thought that's where it ended.
But investigators say it's standard procedure to continue testing evidence, including the bone fragments found on accused kidnapper Donald Blum's property. Now they say a tooth found in that search might belong to Katie after all, and they're comparing it to dental records again.
Initially, it didn't, we weren't sure that we could tie this tooth with the victim. Now it looks like we may be able to, but I want to emphasize the may.
While Katie's mom is afraid of what those results could mean for her daughter, she insists the testing be done right.
After I think about it, I wouldn't want anything less. I need 100% accuracy, and I won't take anything less.
We don't know that it's Katie's, but at least at this point, we can't rule it out either. And we're going to do every kind of scientific test we can do to make that final determination.
Still, Katie's family can only wait, as they have over the last 3 long months.
If I start thinking about, well, it's going to be her, then what if it's not? How would I live with myself thinking I presumed prematurely that she was gone? So we'll deal with tomorrow when tomorrow comes. We'll deal with what the DNA say when the DNA comes. I just know that Katie is still missing.
What he done is he brought that down because he was concerned that it wasn't.
Oh, tremendous. Just the amount of equipment and the way it all works together. It's great.
I even like the idea of for the engineers to have a TV in their own bathroom and stuff, so they can watch up, in case the station goes off the air or something.
I got a contract for this.
You see that dunk?
Basketball stars took to the courts in the Central Hillside.
Show out a little bit, play a little ball. It's all fun for the community.
But this isn't your regular pickup basketball game. This time, kids are taking on Duluth police and firefighters who have traded their uniforms for jerseys.
We always look so professional and so hard, in our uniforms, and I think that's part of the job that we do, because we never know what we're going to be dealing with. coming out here and all smiles and joking and high-fiving and yucking it up with them, I think it shows them a different side of us that I think will help in the future.
The kids say that's exactly what they're learning.
That they're people. Last time you see them on the job, it's like they're unhuman because they're the law. But when they're out there, they're just like anybody else. So
Organizers also want to show some of the good things happening in the neighborhood, like the bikes and helmets that were donated and given to the kids watching the game.
Watch baseline, watch baseline!
But the younger players are learning something else, too.
I can tell they haven't played much basketball lately, but they were pretty good. They weren't bad.
Just because you're up by 20 points doesn't mean it's time to get lazy here. You know?
Okay. We're doing much better. We're still getting killed fast break. That's because we're old and we're out of shape.
Even with the rallying cry
everyone!
and some fan support,
We have to root for Blue now. I know. I want to go for the Come on, Blue!
the kids came out on top.
Hey.
But both teams agree, everybody won.
It was a good opportunity for us to get out with the community and the kids and to interact a little bit, get out of our squads and show that we're just as big of a part of the community as they are. And final score aside, it went well.
In Duluth, Kim Kaiser, News 6.
Corner's creeping up this time. The blitz comes in the middle and Smith.
So I haven't even given any thought to anything other than getting it done in Minnesota.
A month ago, the Vikings Texan owner insisted his team astronomy consisted of the North Star, not the Lone Star. But at a Business Sports Boosters meeting yesterday, it seemed to many that the sky might be falling.
I was at the meeting. I did not hear an ultimatum.
Sports Facilities Executive Director Bill Lester took time on his day off to downplay McCombs' remarks.
He's not from here, and I think he's an honorable guy, too. I don't think he's a sleazy guy.
But is he greasing the skids to slide the team to his hometown Alamo Dome? Red claims the Vikings, trying to compete with dozens of new and improved stadiums in other cities, will start losing millions in 3 years. He reportedly told the Boosters meeting without a stadium plan, the Vikings wouldn't be in Minnesota in 5 years. But this afternoon, McCombs issued a statement claiming, quote, "I have never mentioned at any time to anyone moving the Minnesota Vikings." The Sports Facilities Commission would make it very difficult for McCombs if he tried to pack a purple moving van. Executive Director Lester says the 17-year-old Metrodome can be gussied up to meet the Vikings' needs.
It's not, is it as good as a brand new stadium paid for by someone else? Of course not. But we think we can provide, if not a Cadillac, we can provide a top-of-the-line Buick and extend the useful life of this stadium and not really forfeit the investment we've already made in that facility.
In the middle, and Smith gets by a tackler, gets by a second, and he is off for a 9-yard run to the 4.
And the Vikings family in the
Just to have fun this weekend, really. It's our last one, you know, before winter comes here pretty soon. So we're going to try to get out, have a little fun, do a little sightseeing, maybe do a little fishing, you know, stuff like that.
Brent Schaefer is one of the many weekend travelers filling the tank and loading the car before heading out of town.
Hopefully we're going to catch some food too, so that's our goal. But if we don't, we're going to have potato chips and sandwiches and stuff too.
But not everyone is spending the weekend out of town. Some are picking up items to take back home for the weekend.
Hamburgers, hamburger buns, chips, lots of pop, toilet paper for afterwards, vegetables.
Michelle, your attorney said it's over between you and Dale. Can you talk about it?
me.
Dale, anything to say?
The Lake Explorer is home again after a long journey, out to Lake Ontario and back.
And then they can't come all the way home.
The public got a chance to learn more about the Duluth Water Lab's 2-week journey and toured the EPA research vessel.
We refer to it as the nerve center. This is where things happen.
It fascinates the folks who have come aboard, including 5-year-old Heidi Raber.
I'd like to be an oceanographer.
She's learning what it's like to study the seas.
When it hits the bottom, the trigger releases, and when it comes up, it just grabs a bite of mud, which we then bring up.
And what the scientists are discovering about the Great Lakes as they sift sediment through a special device. Researchers can study what's happening on a small scale, which in turn affects the entire Great Lakes system.
This is, like eating roast beef, and this is like eating, I don't know, what would you want to call that? Something awful.
Zebra mussels make a lousy dinner for fish, and scientists say they're taking over the lake more than they expected.
What the mussels do, they're like a big vacuum cleaner, and they suck all the nutrients out of the lake.
These small things here, about a 1/4 inch long when they're stretched out, are diparia, which is an amphipod. Here's a freshwater shrimp.
Because of the mussels, these small critters are disappearing, sending ripples up the food chain, which means fewer fish. By studying the problems in Lake Ontario, researchers will be able to better understand life in all of the Great Lakes. In Duluth, Kim Kaiser, News 6.
How are ya? Good to see ya. You put a finger on her? How you doing today?
That's good. How about 50 on time?
Well, we have a total of 3,000 today to distribute, so.
Canopy, you can do so over there. Also, you can go that.
Even. Play again. Play again. Back in. Yeah. We don't have it on our signs yet. I got to pick up this week.
I'm to 17th Avenue West.
Well, Mark and Michelle, late this afternoon, the public defender representing Donald Blom, Rod Brodeen, stepped out of some meetings that have been going on throughout the day with prosecuting attorneys for both state and federal charges and Blom's defense team. He stepped out of the meeting to say a tentative plea bargain agreement has been reached, but that his client must still approve it, and so the details must be worked out, or rather must be agreed to by Blom.
I can tell the players the same thing I've told you, that if there is a deal in this case, it will likely be totally completed tomorrow morning.
Is Mr. Blom declining to make a statement until a deal is reached?
Mr. Blom will be making no statements.
Now, what prosecutors want is for Blom to plead guilty to kidnapping Katie and to tell him what happened to her. If he killed her, they want Blom to admit it and provide details. They may also want him to truthfully answer questions about any involvement he may have had in other missing persons. Several investigators for the FBI, the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms have been waiting in the Carleton County offices to question Blom as soon as the agreement is final and agreed to by judges. Now, Rodney Brodeen told me today that when Blom was asked by a reporter if the tooth found at his rural Carleton County property belonged to Katie, he said, quote, "It could be." That is the closest that he's come publicly to implicating himself or involving himself in the disappearance of Katie Poyer. The Poyer family, Mark and Michelle, have had nothing to say today. They say that they're concerned that anything they say may jeopardize the talks and the potential plea bargain arrangement. They want to know what happened to Katie. All of us want to know what happened to Katie, and they don't want to do anything that could ruin the deal. So we could know as early as tomorrow what happened with Katie Poyer.
Yeah, so it's all there.
County Sheriff or Deputy
But
Sheriff.
we'll check with. All right, we'll check with it.
The man was going to 60.
Yeah.
How do you know him?
Oh, I'm from Worcester. Well, all we can do is write it out and wait and see what happens. There ain't that much that we hear that looks good yet, but we're waiting.
When was the last time you got a ticket?
I want everybody to remind everybody this is a very, very sad day. It's a very sad moment for the Poyer family. It's a very sad moment for Mr. Blum. It's a very sad moment for his family.
After 2 days of negotiations, Donald Blum confessed to the kidnapping and killing of Katie Poyer. Most of the day was spent working out the details of a letter of intent to plea. Both of Blum's attorneys were present, and both attorneys advised their client against a plea bargain.
As a parent, I certainly think morally he did the right thing. As an attorney, that isn't what I would have advised him to do.
I know I recommended that Mr. Blum not go through with this deal. Mr. Blum wanted to go through with this. It's his decision to make.
The details of the plea bargain were in place this morning, but an agreement wasn't reached until this evening. There was no agreement on the length of Blum's prison term. However, Blum will serve his time in the state prison of his choice. He chose North Dakota.
Because that's where he felt he would be treated the best during its time of imprisonment.
Jesus, you know, I'm trying to thank everybody, and you go right on.
At Hope Lutheran Church, the volunteers never quit.
No, they won't stop because this is something we just can't forget. Like, we want the support to continue for the family. We want Katie to be remembered.
It's that kind of dedication that kept the Poyers going for 3 agonizing months. That's why the family wants to thank everyone for their love and support.
Thanks to the community, the searchers, to our law enforcement. They brought her home, and we're just thankful to God that we were able to do that.
It's definitely closure. That's what we were looking for. We were hoping for a safe return, but we didn't get it. So it is a relief in a way.
Up until the very end, the Poyers had clung to the hope that Katie was still alive. So when they found out Donald Blum had confessed to killing her, they finally knew she was in a better place.
Tuesday, I had this sense of peacefulness and calmness that came over me. Not a voice, but I'm okay.
She'll always be here. Maybe may not be physically, but she's just gonna always be here mentally.
You know, we carried the buttons around that says "Find Katie." Now I wanted to say, don't forget her. Thank you.
U of M freshmen Ebony Butler and Tanya Shaw say they didn't need any breaks to get into college.
I know I got in on my academics and not on my race or anything.
I don't think I was given a break because I had to meet all the standards and the qualifications just to get in, you know, take my ACTs, have the grades.
But a new report might disagree with Butler and Shaw. Linda Chavez, a former civil rights commissioner in the Reagan administration, contends minority students are given so much preference on U of M entry standards that it's discriminatory toward whites.
That there is no justification for giving a preference to any student based on his or her skin color.
Affirmative action, she declares, helps one group only at the expense of another. U of M President Mark Yudof, who once taught constitutional law, says that's true in some places, but not at the University of Minnesota, where 3/4 of the students are admitted purely on test scores and other statistical standards. It's the remaining 1/4, Yudof says, where they try to diversify.
We don't put people in different piles and say Hispanics over here, African Americans over here, whites over there. What we try to do is, if they're not automatically admitted by the numbers, to look at them in the discretionary zone. Every file's examined.
And after the students are in, white or minority, it's up to them to rise or fall on their own merit. Tanya and Ebony say they expect no special treatment and hope one day when they're working in their chosen fields that all is equal and affirmative action is history.
It's quiet. I've been working at a conference center. It won't be before rolling. So. This is really the most difficult time of the day because what keeps you warm there during the day when you're traveling is movement. It keeps your blood going. But when as soon as you stop, the warm blood goes into the interior and your hands, feet. So it's in this type of a situation, it was always nice after a half an hour to get moving again.
Maybe anything.
When I was missing. Hi, Kathleen. How you doing?
I don't see how she could.
We've been looking for the game all day. We've been fishing earlier and got off the lake in time to go to the game, see the game, and a little disappointed when we weren't able to see the very beginning of the game, but we're going to watch the rest of it now. And
Street, it's a greenhouse, it's almost to the end.
From witnesses that viewed her talking to this driver, and she went into Lucky 7, come out of Lucky 7, and proceeded to get into the semi-truck.
is the big question. It really is. I think that came as quite a shock to the taconite industry. I don't think they ever saw themselves as being the source. And I think it shocked them into some realization that they better have a very serious look at their emissions.
The word's out about Duluth's Hawk Ridge. The big trip south is afoot, and people are flocking to the skyline for a glimpse of the action.
It's much nicer when the Hawks outnumber the people.
Wednesday was a record day for hawk numbers. 46,000 passed by this point. But they weren't all as easy to see as these sharp-shinned hawks. Most of them are more than a mile off, just specks in the sky, and that's with binoculars.
The hawks were just going through thick all day. Big streams of them, kettles that looked like tornadoes of hawks swirling through the sky.
We can't show you the hawk tornadoes. Today the birds are too far away for our camera to distinguish, but they're visible through binoculars as they ride a warm thermal in an upward spiral pattern called a kettle.
And when you see one of those swirling tornadoes of hawks, you can't imagine how you can count them, and we don't. You can't count a kettle.
So how do they count the raptors from such a distance? The official counter, Frank Nicoletti, keeps his eyes on the skies, and he waits for them to come out of the kettle formation and begin soaring straight southward. Some aren't too concerned with the count, especially with an opportunity to meet the big birds up close. Bird expert Kim Eckert gives everyone a quick lesson in identifying hawks. Kim says one bird you can expect to see a lot of at Hawk Ridge is the broadwing hawk. 44,000 came through on Wednesday.
About the size of a crow with black and white bands on the tail, and they go through in a big rush in big numbers during mid-September.
Here it goes. Hawk Ridge is nationally known to be one of the greatest bird-watching spots because of northwesterly winds forcing the migration route to the edge of Lake Superior. But there are no updrafts to ride over the lake, so hawks skirt the edge, flying right over Duluth. Jeff Pentel drove 1,000 miles, hoping for that perfect picture. He offers one piece of advice.
First of all, I would say be prepared to spend some time, because not every day is a good day. But if you set aside a week, you're bound to get at least one good day.
Avid birders say there should be a few more good days in the next week or so. Just remember, bring your binoculars. Jason Rice, News 6.
The address to Katie's website is an easy one to remember, findkatie.com. Since its creation, over 120,000 people have found it. That's a phenomenal number of visits for a web address which has had little publicity.
Also some new information about Katie's appearance. Again, she is 5 feet tall with curly brown hair.
Up until the first televised report of her abduction in May, the number of people who knew and loved 19-year-old Kathleen Elizabeth Poyer could be counted in the hundreds. But that was before this chilling surveillance video of her abduction from a Moose Lake gas station was broadcast by television stations across the country.
Please call us at 1-800-CRIME-TV.
Today, because of television and the World Wide Web, hundreds of thousands of people know of Katie and her fate at the hands of kidnapper and killer Donald Blum. The Find Katie website's guest book has over 4,000 entries from people just like Craig Kittleson of Minneapolis, who writes, "I would like to take a moment of your time and express my condolences for your loss. Although I am not a very religious person, I made a special effort to say a prayer for Katie. Having a 3-year-old of my own, I cannot begin to understand why someone could do such a horrible thing to such an innocent child. You are all in our prayers." The website displays pictures of a smiling Katie who graduated from Barnum High School in 1998. Visitors learned she was attending Fond du Lac Community College, was interested in pursuing a career in law enforcement, and loved her dogs. She also rooted for the Green Bay Packers.
Their mission is simple. Take a room that is the fashion equivalent of a train wreck.
Just a shot?
That's it.
And turn it into a low-budget work of art.
And action.
Hi, and welcome to Decorating Sense, the show that gives you great decorating ideas for a lot less. And today we have bitten off a lot, but it is not more than we can chew. We are at the Governor.
The crew of Decorating Sense makes a living righting fashion wrongs, but their latest project takes them into uncharted territory.
I want to just really emphasize this red sofa.
I hope he doesn't body slam us.
He is the Honorable Jesse Ventura, and this is his basement getaway. The room the first couple inherited is a bit dark. The furniture was stylish a couple of years ago. Heck, the only thing 90s is the big screen TV.
And Terry and I assume Jesse are happy with the possibility of some changes in here.
Designer Joe McDowell has $500 and a few surprises in her pocket. She's shooting for a classic look that also reflects the governor's personality.
The biggest mistake would be to start getting real gimmicky, because of who he is and, that he's bigger than life. So we don't want to do that. But I certainly want to bring his fun and his just zest for life into the rooms.
This is your flare area here. Right. Did I get it?
The before scenes are a breeze. It's the after that's causing the crew a bit of apprehension.
Well, you know what? When it's over, I'm on a plane, so I'm out of here. Joan can deal with it.
I'm going to be looking at his ears and hope steam isn't coming out of him. I'm not going to look in his eyes. No, he's a nice guy. He'll love it. Right?
Look at it, Bruce. Is that as far as you can go out?
Yeah. You'll come off the cliffs. Oh, that's not so bad.
That's not bad.
Many of us here hadn't met Katie, didn't know Katie, and yet through it all, you really feel you have known her. Everyone comes together so beautifully and wanting to help. I really didn't have to make many phone calls. They were calling me asking what can they do.
I think you put your heart more into it when you know the people. It's a small town. You take it a little more personal. There's stuff probably from places people haven't known them. They just known through the papers or TV or have come up to search.
We already see her love is going to go on forever and ever. She may be gone, but her love will always be here.
we sold everything. How's that?
Well then.
Okay. There's some leftovers from last year and even a few from the year before. And of course those that we can do a little better deal than the new ones.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're somewhat self-draining. There's a lot of water that stays in the exhaust. But I usually do.
They were sorry.
You can't even anticipate this much support. The retired people that have come out here and supported us, the little kids that come out and ask if they can hold our signs. I mean, it's fabulous.
How the workers, the union workers.
Especially since the Gap commercial came out, and then everybody just wants to, go into swing. And so it's nice to see, 15 and 16-year-olds that are interested in dancing and start taking dance lessons.
There's so many new businesses coming here in West Duluth that a lot of my customers who come over, a lot of them from Superior come over and park their cars, and they've said to me it's like coming to a mall without a cover, walking around here. And they have a ball walking around out here.
All right, 1, 2, 3. The new and improved Highway 53 is going to make doing business easier. It's encourage more economic development. It's going to boost the tourism industry of northern Wisconsin.
I think the biggest thing is time. Nowadays, time is money, and it is probably saving us money.
We do have PFDs or life jackets.
This creates an awareness in our community of what firefighting is all about and the dangers of fire, and one of the things we see is it's an opportunity for citizens to become involved with their fire department and actually contribute directly to something that may save their life or their properties.
Did I state that our absentee rate went down from like a 6-7% in that school
to 1%?
To, and whatever they need to do at that time, so it's almost like there's almost 0 kids. And good things you can for kids. Our absentee rates at that time were approximately 6-7%, and we went down to a 1 and 2% absentee rate.
No, I have to do something for real.
Oh, yeah.
He shocked the world when he became governor of Minnesota. Now, nearly a year later, he's shocking the world once again with a tell-all interview featured in Playboy magazine. In the article, Ventura takes on organized religion. He's quoted as saying it's for weak-minded people, calling it a sham and blaming religion for the unpopularity of legalized prostitution. Some local religious leaders like Father Patrick McDowell say comments like this are just part of Ventura's style.
And I think he likes to bait. He likes to bait people like religious people and other people to react to this sort of thing, and that's what he loves.
The former Navy SEAL also comments on the Navy's 1991 tailhook scandal, when female officers were groped and fondled by aviators at a party. Ventura says to people who defy death, a scandal over grabbing a woman's buttocks is just much ado about nothing. But for one woman who deals with sexual abuse on a daily basis, these words are pretty hard to handle.
Who gives anyone the right to touch you without your consent? And many people are in high stress situations, high stress positions, and that's almost giving people just permission that, well, if you're, in a dangerous situation, whatever, that gives you the right to touch anyone the way that you feel, necessary.
As for his opinion on the John F. Kennedy assassination, Ventura says killers were hired and the military-industrial complex is responsible. But the governor hesitated before giving that answer because the former professional wrestler said he doesn't want people to think he's some sort of erratic nut running the state of Minnesota. In Duluth, Jody Grayson, News 6.
I think he's acting like an immature child. He's not in the ring no more. He's supposed to be the governor. He needs to act like it.
I respect what Governor Ventura had to say in the Playboy interview. I'm glad that he's been so honest. That's the reason I voted for him. Go, Jesse!
I'm thoroughly disgusted with the governor's choice of words, and I think he should be kicked out of office. I am very angry.
He's wonderful and he's entertaining.
It is better to keep your mouth shut and thought a fool than it is to open it and prove it. So goes Jesse once again.
it should help a lot of people open their eyes to see what it's really like. I mean, it's not really exactly what it would be like because, you know, we all ate a good dinner before we came and we all have a lot of extra clothes, but it should help open people's eyes a little bit.
No.
Sure. You guys mind if we camp out by you by the candles?
We're gonna do a lot of this duct tape here. We're gonna be very constructive here.
Well, I don't have 3 rolls or anything.
They saran wrapped my car, and that's where I parked.
Take this saran wrap. Just take a bunch of
And what you can do
saran
is you can
wrap.
put the saran wrap around the box, and then duct tape.
New research from Brigham and Women's Hospital shows 3 hours a week of brisk walking is as good as an hour and a half spent in vigorous exercise, such as jogging or aerobic dance. And for those for whom vigorous exercise is too hard on the body, it's the perfect option. Anne McGranahan started exercising regularly 20 years ago.
This is basically my exercise.
Researchers looked at data from more than 72,000 women in the study. Because of problems with one of her knees, Anne can't do more vigorous exercise but can walk on the treadmill.
Well, I'm 62 and I'm still going strong, so I don't think I'll be stopping anytime soon.
Barbara McKnight started working out 12 years ago.
You have to be motivated, and I think once you start, just keep at it.
She stopped smoking and stepped onto the treadmill.
Can't do it by myself. I have to see other people working too. That motivates me.
The study showed that brisk walking 3 times a week reduced the risk of heart attack by up to 40%. Hopefully this new study will motivate more people to add a brisk walk to their routine. But it's important to point out that to get the full benefit, the walk must be brisk. A stroll just won't cut it.
I think with each successive year, this is becoming more and more a volunteer effort on the part of youth in the community to give to the community, and especially the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts and all the church youth groups that are involved in this effort. I think this is one of the more significant pieces of this event. It's a chance for youth to get involved.
Who would give people what would be a 5-day food supply that they can walk out with.
My father was a small businessman.
We do have to get him back to work because he's preparing for that particular trial. So
we've seen in this state already about $500,000.
Good job.
good job, Mike. Thanks, sir.
That I have uncommon sense. My father was a small businessman with a 7th grade education. Indeed, one of his first businesses